educational journey into climate change in St. Martin and how that parallels with climate change in the world. I would like, if you indulge with me, to extend a little bit that educational journey and to look at how this fits into the regional perspective. And one of the reasons why the regional perspective matters is that we share the same challenges and we can share also some of the solutions together. I know that Dr. Gary Pleasant will talk much more about the solution side of things. I would like you, if you allow me, to still talk a little bit about the problem from a scientific perspective. So as soon as the presentation is ready, I think we can get started. Thank you very much. So if you look at climate, if you look at weather, if you look at climate change, ultimately they hit us in similar ways. At this time we have hurricanes. Will we have hurricanes in the future? Yes, we will. Will we have storm surges in the future? Yes, we will, and we have that happened in the past. The scientists tend to make a distinction between the words weather, climate, or climate variability, and climate change. Weather is what we can forecast up to a week or sometimes even 2 weeks from now. The weather depends only on what is going on at a certain point in time in the atmosphere. So if you know perfectly well what the atmosphere looks like at a certain point in time, you can predict weather very well for the next week or so. You can tell actually the weather for a certain day in the future. But there's a limit to that. After several days, the behavior of the atmosphere is looking so chaotic that the weather prediction does not make sense anymore. However, does that mean we cannot make any kind of predictions for the future beyond the weather forecast? Fortunately, no, that's not what it means. That is when we start talking climate. And climate consists of the climate we live in today, which is variable. It has ups and downs, it has droughts, it has periods of flooding. It has heat waves and it has cooler periods. Right? So this is what we call climate variability. It's how the weather situation in the background is kind of pushed up and down for several months or a couple of years. What we can do to forecast what is going to happen in the next few months is looking at the oceans. Why the oceans? Because as opposed to the atmosphere, the density of water is much larger and it holds much more energy than the atmosphere. Therefore, it takes also much more time for the energy to be released to the atmosphere and for the energy to be taken up by the ocean. And because it takes much longer, you can make predictions at much longer time scales. However, what we can say for weather is the situation in the next day number 3, for instance, moving forward. But in climate, you cannot say what's this weather situation on day 55. Rather, you can say what we expect, for instance, for this hurricane season in general. Then, beyond a couple of years, also the ocean starts to behave a little bit beyond our comprehension in terms of forecasting capacity. But there's still something meaningful we can say beyond that time scale. And that is when we start talking about climate change. Why is that? Because if you add energy or remove energy from the Earth's system, then climate is going to trend from one state altogether to another state. That is what we call climate change. And that is not influenced by the atmosphere alone or the ocean alone, but has a lot to do with how we behave in this world, how external factors to the climate are also changing, for instance, the strength of the sun, but most importantly, with recent climate change, anthropogenic or human-made forcing, by which we mean things like CO2 emissions. Right? So here again, you cannot make a prediction for 1 month, 90 years from now, but you can make a prediction for how the weather will behave in general in that last decade of the century. So weather is looking at 1 day or a couple of hours, up to 1 week or 2 weeks in the future. Climate variability is looking at a couple of months, up to a couple of years in the future, and climate change is looking at many years in the future. Are you all with me? Okay, good. So, what are we interested in here now, of course, is the climate change horizon. So it's the long-term challenges that we face. So we can ask 3 questions a bit in a similar way as Mr. Isaac has in the previous presentation. My first question is, has there been climate change already? Well, as you have seen from his presentation, as you have heard from His Excellency, yes, there has been. So science is also backing that. As a regional effort led by the University of West Indies, the group represented here by Dr. Michael Taylor, and the meteorological services of the region, as well as CNH, a publication has been showing that, yes, there has been significant trends in temperature in the Caribbean over the last 50 years, or even if you look in a smaller horizon, a shorter horizon, there have been significant increases in temperature. Not just the average temperature change, not just long-term average, the nighttime or daytime temperatures, but also temperature extremes have been changing. For instance, there has been a 15% increase in the frequency of our warmest days and of our warmer nights, a 1 degree warming of those very hottest days of the year and also of the coolest days of the year. So you see the shift is moving towards warmer. A 7% decrease in frequency of cold days and a 10% decrease in the frequency of cold nights. So yes, we get more of the heat and we get less of the cold.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
Tell them, connecting you.
I'm honored to give this speech today on this vitally important and timely topic, the impact of climate change on the economic development of St. Martin. When I was approached by His Excellency W. Eugene Holiday, I must admit that I had to seriously consider whether I could do justice to the topic, because I am first and foremost a career banker. I am not an economist, a meteorologist, or a climatologist, but I did sleep at a Holiday Inn. After careful consideration and deep reflection, especially considering the sobering experience of witnessing the wrath of Hurricane Irma, I came to the conclusion that the impact of climate change on our economic progress affects all of us, whether we are the government, private businesses, non-governmental organizations, churches, or households. Therefore, we must all join in the dialogue and contribute meaningfully to the innovative and workable solutions if we are to ensure the inevitable effects of this pervasive global phenomenon called climate change do not completely reverse the notable socio-economic gains this country has already achieved. The link between climate change and economic development is critical for small open economies like St. Martin. This is because the natural environment represents an important asset that preserves the key economic activities of these economies, such as tourism, agriculture, fishing, and other coastal activities. Indeed, small developing states in the regions of the Caribbean, Atlantic, Pacific, Mediterranean, and Indian Oceans share similar concerns about climate change as St. Martin, and can provide us with valuable lessons and support that may guide and inform our efforts to adapt to these concerns. My speech will cover three broad areas. I will first speak briefly on the structure of the St. Martin's economy and its economic development strategy, which I surmise to be consistent with the United Nations Millennium Development Goals, or MDGs. I will refer to both the MDGs and the UN's Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs, interchangeably as proxies for sustainable economic development. In the second section of the speech, I will provide a snapshot on the global trends in climate change and the impact these trends portend for St. Martin. And I will conclude by offering my perspective on practical adaptation strategies that will help reduce the economic development vulnerability of St. Martin against the expected negative impact of climate change. Looking at the structure of the St. Martin's economy and its development, or economic development strategy, I will firstly like to put into context the economic realities that St. Martin faces and the implications for its path to sustainable economic development. I am sure what I'm about to say is not new to many of you, but I think it is worth repeating because it reinforces my message about the pervasiveness and dangers of climate change and the need for effective adaptation strategies. St. Martin is a small open economy with a population slightly higher than 41,000 and a land mass of only 16 square miles. Our smallness and openness imply that macroeconomic performance and stability rely heavily on external or global forces. In particular, the tourism industry, which is the backbone of domestic economic activity, is driven by the external demand for our tourism and hospitality services. This demand provides the impetus for other domestic economic sectors, particularly construction, real estate, retail trade, and financial services. In addition, it follows that the balance of payment position of St. Martin, particularly the accumulation of foreign currency reserves, is determined to a large extent by external factors, namely global commodity and food prices. These realities reinforce that small open economies like St. Martin, which possesses a narrow economic base, limited avenues for economic diversification, and heavy dependence on tourism services, translate into a high level of economic and, by extension, environmental vulnerability. The latter being a primary concern because the livelihoods of the majority of St. Martin's population depends on the preservation of its natural and coastal environment. I do not wish to be too pessimistic. However, over the period of 2012 to 2016, the St. Martin's economy recorded low rates of economic growth, and unemployment remained at a higher than desired level. Over this period, tourism has performed credibly, with 4% growth on average in stayover visitors and a slight decline in cruise ship passenger arrivals. As we are all aware, the tourism industry and the wider economy suffer some setbacks in the aftermath of Hurricane Irma. And according to the Central Bank of Curacao and St. Martin's economy is expected to experience a decline of over 9% in 2018.
People all across St. Martin are switching to a more rewarding experience. The WIB MasterCard Fun Miles credit card, better known as My Card. Earn 1 Fun Mile for every $2 spent, even abroad and online. This will quickly get you a ton of Fun Miles to redeem for travel, shopping, food, fuel, and much more. But there's more to My Card. Worldwide acceptance, an EMV chip for extra security, and 250 free Fun Miles with first use. Switch to My Card today at WIB.
Fun miles, fun within your reach.
Tell them, connecting you.
It's been said that behind every door, possibility awaits. How much possibility depends on which door you open first. Every day, we help our customers discover the possibilities in their lives. It all starts with a conversation. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
Hello, St. Martin. My name is Stephanie Medina, and I play football with the Walichi Women's Soccer team. I have represented St. Martin in many different games. For example, the Dutch Caribbean Women's Soccer Cup. I played against Bonaire, Aruba, and Curacao right here in this stadium. Sports matter to me because it makes me happy, it keeps me fit and healthy, and it is very fun. So I asked the business community to take on this challenge and help us rebuild our facilities. And I also asked the community to nominate the local businesses in your area and take on the challenge and step up for sport. Why? Because sports matter. Check out the Department of Sport Facebook page for more information. Hashtag sports matter, hashtag are you in?
Madam Chair, I noticed that all the questions that were raised by MPs
in that meeting, they were not answered. And then there was a comment that said at the end would specifications, a copy of the draft management plan lagoon cleanup is needed. I wanted to ask if that draft management plan of the lagoon and cleanup, if that was submitted to Parliament.
Not according to my recollection, MP Smith, but in ratifying these decision lists, your query will again be noted. So your question will be formally noted and followed up upon.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you, MP Smith. We have a question, or we have further comments, and we're
Yes.
on list number 5.
Five,
Yes. MP Franz Richardson.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair, and good morning. And yes, I have the same question, because there was a question I think was posed by your person and myself on that agenda point, and I was wondering if also the cleanup of the lagoon, because it was get back some answers also that I did not see in here. The issue of the cleanup of the lagoon, will that be funded by the World Bank? I'm not sure if that information was given back to us. We did not receive it. The same thing concerning a copy of the draft management plan of the lagoon cleanup is needed. That too. I have it written here.
Noted, MP Franz Richardson, and again, those points will be noted and follow-up will be given with respect to having received or not the information as requested in that particular meeting.
On page 4 of the decision list, mention is made that Parliament passed a motion to this effect, and the legal ramifications. Is government reminded of this motion? Wasn't quite sure what that meant. Was a motion passed? And what were the legal ramifications? I couldn't find any further information concerning that. And on page 3, it says the chair lady indicates that a report will be made of these points and solutions will be looked at to resolve this problem. Has that report been made? And was that made available already to members of Parliament with the solutions included? That's my question.
Thank you, MP Smith, for those questions. And again, your questions now on those decisions are noted, and they will be responded to in terms of has such a report been made and were solutions presented. So our secretariat will have those questions noted, and they will be responded to. That was on list number 16, and we continue with list number 20, our final list for this agenda point. MP Smith?
List number 20, Madam Chair. And this comment goes for practically all the list. As I was reading them, I noticed that there are quite some typos and errors in the decision list, and I wondered if this will be corrected. These will be corrected as the lists are reviewed and prepared for final handling.
Thank you, MP Smith, and your comments will be taken into consideration. Of course, they have been noted, and I will I am hereby asking the Secretariat to pay particular attention to what you mentioned in terms of cleaning up the decision list. And on April the 9th, 2018, Member of Parliament Sarah Westcott Williams made a proposal to Parliament for the establishment of an ad hoc committee electoral reform, along with a terms of reference for drafting legislation and other documentation to implement electoral reform, as well as present a timeline for the approval of Parliament to deal with these matters. This meeting started on Wednesday, April the 18th, in Central Committee meeting number 22. A discussion on the proposal followed, and questions were asked. These questions have been answered and presented to the members of parliament. These answers have been presented to all members of parliament. I think, however, again, it's important that we sort of just go back to where the matter started to get an understanding of where we're at. And I think reference to the introduction to the terms of reference encapsulates the essence again of the topic at hand. And in the proposed terms of reference, and as the members of parliament know, the proposal is to establish an ad hoc committee of parliament to deal with the general matter of electoral reform.